And tell me about getting sober. Why did you get, and you have 4 kids?
No, 2.
2 kids?
2,
And
yeah.
how old's your oldest kid?
15.
Okay. And one boy and one girl?
Yeah, my boy will be 13 in a few weeks, and my girl is 15.
And are you still married?
I am. Yep.
Holy shit.
For 20 years, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt O'Keefe has crossed the 51-yard line of what makes raising successful kids, having a successful relationship with your wife. It's kind of really that easy.
It is. I mean, God, we could talk about that for hours. It's a fun challenge. I mean, a 15-year-old girl, and I hope my daughter listens to this because she'll smile and laugh, but boy, that's a new world. Like, good Lord, you're not like, I feel like, you have a child and you're not ready. You're never ready for anything. That's like, I have clients and friends like Pat Fowler just had a baby, and it's like Cole Sager just had a baby, Annie. It's like you figure it out, but that comes again on the tail end, especially with a high school girl. It's like I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if I'm gonna. It's crazy, the stuff. I mean, I feel for her too. It's like what's going on in her head. Like I can't imagine. I remember being that age and being insecure and as a guy, like I can't imagine what she goes through. It's like I want to like wrap her bubble wrap, but I also want to kill her sometimes.
You're an amazing example. I would presume you're an amazing father because you're an amazing example. And it's interesting. So that means you quit drinking when your daughter was 5. Your oldest child was 5. Why did you quit drinking?
Yeah, I mean, they're a piece of it. My family, and I did it for me. Like, what you learn, it's hard to know this the day that you like think sobriety is a path for you. But if you're not doing it for yourself, because you can't fix everything else or like support everything else and make everything else right around you unless you really make yourself right. I did learn to do it because it was the right thing for me personally, mentally, and physically. I was just like, not. I mean,
Did you get a DUI?
No, you probably would have saw me and been like, I just like a guy that parties, and it was all consuming, right? It just like was, there was no off switch. It wasn't a daily thing, but it was like, when it happened, it was like, I don't even know how it ended up stopping. It just stopped because I couldn't stand up anymore, right? So, I had a young kid I had 2 young kids, and it was like, I had this amazing wife that, was just putting up with and now real quiet about what she was putting up with, right? And I don't know, I was lucky that the light bulb went off. I think I just had this moment where it was like, what am I doing to these people? Like, these beautiful kids, my wife, like, it kind of like, I think the real moment was, it dawned on me what my wife was putting up with, just Jesus, wow. I mean, the fact that I'm still allowed to stay at my house is crazy right now. This is cool. Like, I need to fix this. But I think the proudest piece, it's very emotional every year, even for my wife. She's like very like it's like that day. Funny enough, like my sobriety date is the day after her birthday, so you can imagine what that day of her birthday was like. It didn't go well, right? So, but she, she's emotional and celebrates it in a great way. She's like very proud of it. And I am most because of my kids, like they have no concept from that me, like they don't remember it and they're never going to see it. So it's like my why, they like, it's, mom has a glass of wine every once in a while and they're like, they're probably like, Dad doesn't do that, Mom. It's like, that's right. It's cool.
Is your wife English? Is your wife English?
She, her heritage.
Is she a foreigner?
No.
She doesn't have a funny accent. She doesn't sound smarter than she is.
She's very bright, way brighter than me. She's a partner at a law firm. She.
Well, then she should get an English accent. That's like an automatic, like in Scrabble, a double.
She would like that.
What is that? Like when you get double the points.
Wait, so Matt, you just decided that day, this is it, and I'm done?
Well, so I had made a bet, funny enough, on a January 1 bet. I was going to take the first 3 months, which is, by the way, this is like the snowball of like, when in sobriety, it's like, I was going to take a few months off because it was like, a test. It's like, yeah, right. Like, the shit was hitting the fan, but I made it. I went on a ski trip with my wife, and I was like, just like white knuckling. She's like, just fucking drink. Who cares? And it was a bad night. That was her birthday, and I woke up the next morning and I was like, I'm done. Like this was all that was just an identification thing. It was like, I'm not good at this. I need help.
So you were trying to quit that day on a
I was
bet.
I was trying to quit that month that like I was trying to like maintain a status. I had like not drank since January 1st, right? And I failed.
Did you ever go to AA?
Oh yeah, every day for 5 years, like literally every day. It was a routine thing, and it was like to get through the struggle and like find people that thought like I was and how they coped and like fixed their life or put it together, and then it was just like good people that I wanted to be around, and with a lot of my travel and how busy I've got, it's a great global network. So I do occasionally find places in Europe or whatever, it's like, it's funny. CrossFit helped me a lot. Like it's healing, and it's like, I found a program that I'm going to do some work with Phoenix that's doing a lot of CrossFit for recovery. Yep. And it's, I was very fortunate, and there's a lot of people in recovery in CrossFit, right? So there's a nice network, but like I've gotten away from it, which isn't the best idea as a sober human being, but Matt's very public about his sobriety, so we've had each other to lean on with that too. But yeah, I used to go every day.
The communities are so similar. You can go anywhere around the world and go to a meeting, you'll be welcome. You can go anywhere around the world and go to a box, welcome.
Except go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say I feel like there's everybody kind of has a way that they look at the CrossFit. I mean, there's so many angles on it, and it does so many great things. For me, it's an area that like I'm getting more and more excited about. Honestly, especially I went and worked out at Phoenix last Friday. They've served 10,000 people this year. They're going to serve 250,000 people, and we're talking like 48 hours sober people, like doing CrossFit. And I'm like, this is it. Like this, I mean, you guys have all had it. It's like, there's a lot of that. It's like, this is it in CrossFit, right? This is it for me. It was like, oh, I'm in. And I'm, he just got a $50 million donation from somebody. And I'm like, whoa. I get it. Yeah.
Whoa. Like the Phoenix program did?
Yeah. They're about to like do some real great work. They've done incredible work, but like now he's going to be able to like really spread his wings the way he wants to. And
what's the guy's name? I've met him before.
Scott Strode.
Yeah. I met him a few times. I went out to see him with Greg. He was fantastic.
Cool kid. I mean, he was like, sticking needles in his arm. He's just like, he's open about it. It's he's incredible. Boston story, like they're right on Meth Mile. It's like they run their 800 by people that are like keeled over. I mean, it's
there's a street called the Meth Mile.
Yeah,
that's like wow.
Yeah, it's you got to check it out. Like I like last.
That's a strong name for a street, for a nickname for a street. Damn.
It's kind of crazy that they ended up there of all places that they could end up. It was like it's kind of perfect, but they I mean, dude, I hadn't been in real, like I had been to like they used to do their program out of CrossFit in Back Bay, Reebok Back Bay at the time, and they finally got their own building. I mean, I was floored, but I went last Friday. They have a 7:30 class, and it's there were like 30 people in it doing CrossFit, and like of all walks.
What is it? You're sober for 24 hours, and then you get free access to the gym, but you have to be sober for 24 hours.
48.
Okay. Did it used to be 24?
24 is like a that you're looking for 24, like but the they're 48. Maybe it used to be 24. I think 48 is a good idea before you want somebody working out.
Putting a barbell overhead.
Yeah.
My wife and I were both let go from CrossFit on the exact same day, and in a previous life, she was a breathing and yoga coach. It was like basically what she was going to do, and she traveled all over the world training. And she got hit by a car crossing a crosswalk, and then the CrossFit thing started taking off. And as she healed, she moved over into the CrossFit space. But what's interesting is the day she got let go, there's a CrossFit gym that never closed down during the pandemic, that is the so-called pandemic, that is in our area. And it's like a 50-acre, I'm making that up, rehab. It's a big, gigantic rehab that's about 10 or 11 miles south of us, called Elevate. And the owner knew her because my wife was on the affiliate team for a little while, and the owner had talked to her a bunch. And I guess she had heard that my wife got let go and immediately reached out to her and said, hey, do you want to teach yoga and breathing at our rehab? And so my wife's been doing that, 3 days a week, which is great for my wife because it gets to revisit her old practice. And now she's like full blast back into yoga and back into teaching breathing. And the program is exploding. And that's not a good thing, but it's because it's telling of the times. But basically, I think rehab. I mean, those Phoenix guys are in a tremendous space that the world really, really, really needs right now, right? We know that the average weight gain of people during this last year and a half in the United States is like 26 pounds or something like that.
They only have that one
sure
location.
13 of that's from alcohol. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Do they only have one location?
No,
they have another location. I think they're in Lake Tahoe also.
Denver.
Sorry, not Phoenix. Elevate. The one my wife's at.
Yeah.
Were you talking to me or to him, Brian?
I guess both. Yeah.
Oh, don't lie. Who are you talking to?
Oh, wow. That was the most Swiss response I've ever heard in my life. Is that your role in this? Massage everybody?
I was thinking about Phoenix. It struck me that Phoenix might have multiple locations. It seemed like Elevate probably wouldn't. I don't know.
By the way, I've heard of the Elevate program. I would love to go. Like I'm like, I mean, reinvigorated, charged up. Like that's a purpose thing for me. Like I need to get connected on that. Like to me, like I think. By the way, what you said before, Sevan, is really important. Like I don't think that this is exacerbated people's problems, not created them. So like it's an epidemic. Like it's just a reality. It's a mental disease. Becomes physical through how you engage whatever you're engaging. But I'm telling you that this has just exposed a lot of it, and people need help. And yeah, sitting at home for 18 months was gonna obviously fast forward a lot of people's problems, right? So the reality of it is there's nothing really different today than there was 10 years ago. There's a lot of people that struggle and just don't have a place to go or know there's a better way, and places like Elevator,
Right. It's interesting. So you were drinking a lot, and you knew that drinking and your marriage and your kids didn't mix, and it sounds like one of them had to go. And for me, and probably CrossFit was like this, for me, I was smoking cigarettes. I was smoking cloves, like a pack a day, and I found CrossFit at 34. And somewhere in there, in the first 6 months, I was like, oh, these two aren't going together. And I really enjoyed smoking. I really, really like smoking. And I was like, one of these has to go. And then I was like, well, eventually smoking has to go anyway. It's not like anyone who's thinking about smoking, I'm going to tell you something that no one ever tells you. Don't ever do it. And the reason why is for two reasons. One, you have to quit. So why even start something you have to quit? And the second thing is as you get older, it'll haunt you in your brain. What damage did I do? And you never want to give up you never want to give real estate up in your brain. Ever, 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 ever. So
do you think about, like, it's funny, we'll get like dark in the matrix now, but like that, I think of that often. Like that's a thought that I spend time on, which is like, what have I done to myself that I can't reverse that's going to shorten my path, right? I lost my mother this year, 69 years old, and she smoked for 30 years, and she had quit, but she died from a lung disease that was created through all that time smoking, right? And it's like 69. I'm 44. Like that's not a lot of time left. I got a lot to do. I don't want to go. It's like, what have I done? I mean, I've chewed tobacco all my life. It's like, okay, there is some. I don't anymore. But it's like there's something I did to myself there through that. I'm sure that's probably not going to help me live to be 100. You know, I think about that often.
Yeah, the smoking thing really used to come in my brain a lot. Like, oh shit, how much better would my score have been here? How much permanent damage have I done to my lungs? But what's really crazy about CrossFit and eating right is I feel like more and more those thoughts leave my brain. Like if I used to have them every day and then I had them once a week, now it's just like once a month. But of course they're still there. But I just feel like every time we do a workout, we change all our fluids, we change our oil, we agitate the system, we shake all the, it's like I imagine like what are those things called with all the little holes in them, like a cauldron, not a cauldron, what's the thing you put, a strainer. Yeah, I feel like just every time we do a CrossFit workout, we're shaking the strainer and the bad shit's just falling out. Yeah. And so I think we're good. I mean, I'm not just saying that. I think we're good.
You're right. You're right on that. Like, well, as good as you can be, right? Like, there's nothing else. You're every day. That's like the whole AA thing. It's like the only thing you can do is like live in the day, do the next right thing. I've applied that to my health. Like so. It's I feel like it's funny. Like I've always thought of that as like the program they call it or the fellowship. Man, people should read that book, who sober or not, it's like that thing is just life. It's like, okay, so apply that to like eating. I mean, this, you probably spent more time on this than anyone is like, alcoholism, there's isms all over the place. And the food is in that category and that's probably the biggest epidemic in the world, right? Like people just not know how to eat or what to eat. But you can help yourself with that, with the same thing with that. It's just, how do you do it? You put like, you figure out how to make the next right choice. And by the way, it's like, I'm not perfect. I got to be perfect with alcohol. I promise you that. Nobody wants to see that. But, food and health and wellness, like I just try to work out every day and I try not to eat like an asshole,